To say that CD Projekt Red has had it rough the past few years, I think would be an understatement, given how poor of a reception that Cyberpunk 2077 had when it launched. And in a lot of ways, that reaction was deserved, the immediate reaction. In the time since then, however, they have worked their butts off to get Cyberpunk 2077 into a more recognizable state as a CD Projekt Red property, and they have done an exceptional job to the point where they've now sold more than 20 million copies. And I know it was like a year ago almost, last September, when the game was coming into its, almost its second year anniversary, and it suddenly saw a huge surge in the charts, and it was making sales. They had more than 1 million concurrent players, I think, last September, about a year ago now. And that was when all the media outlets started talking about how the fact that the game had essentially gotten to the point by then that it was what it should have launched with. And people felt like, hey, it's really good, it's playable now. And the first part of that redemption arc was completed. But they have had an even bigger redemption arc, and that is the development of the Phantom. I gotta remember which way I'm going here. The Phantom Liberty expansion, the DLC, which is not only proving it's not only the finale of the first game because they're moving on to The Witcher 4 and the next Cyberpunk game as soon as they get this out the door. It's also the chance for them to update the game to Cyberpunk 2.0, which is the big huge upgrade that's overhauling the skill system. It's adding a relic system. It's revamping UI elements. It's adding the mounted combat or mounted car combat. It's adding new police stuff. It's adding all these new quest systems and just a whole slew of new stuff that's all free for people who have already owned the base game of Cyberpunk 2077. And then there is all of the storyline content that is coming with the Phantom Liberty expansion, the DLC that's dropping, which has Idris Elba in it. And so on top of getting, Keanu Reeves, we're getting another pretty big Hollywood actor to come in and not only play the game and be a part of the game, but if you've noticed, like these guys are also participating in press. So I think it's a smart move on their behalf because they realize that they're not just catering to a tiny little audience anymore. It's like, oh no, there's 20 million people that have played Cyberpunk 2077, and the chance of them playing the DLC are pretty high. So if you, as a movie star, recognize that I'm going to get 20 million eyeballs on me and my performance in that role, which sells tickets to the next film I do, and it sells tickets to the films I've done before, which bring in residuals and all this other stuff, and it boosts my star power, in the movie making and filmmaking scene and TV making scene. I'm glad that these guys are not too big for their britches and they've been happy to get involved with video game projects as well because I'm a huge Idris Elba fan and have been since before he became a part of this franchise. The same thing with Keanu Reeves. But the fact that these guys were willing to jump in and do this game in such a cool way was just like icing on the cake for me. Like I've never once felt like it was a bad decision. I thought Keanu Reeves' performance in the first game was absolutely freaking amazing, especially the promotional material he did outside of that. I had a lot of fun with my first playthrough and the interactions I had with Silverhand, and I cannot wait to take him through on my second playthrough, which I'm getting ready to do for Phantom Liberty because I've only played the game through once, and that was when it came out on the PS4. And I always said it was not the best experience, even though I loved the game. I said when it comes out on next gen and when I have a next gen console, I will go forth and play it again. And I now have a Series X, and I'm going to be playing it on the Series X. And I can say that I've already sort of dabbled in the intros a little bit over the last few months as I picked up a version of the game for my Series X, and it's been such a different experience because it looks amazing and there's no frame issues and there's no crashes, and it's like if only this could have been the game that they launched with. They probably could have done way more than 20 million sales within 2 years. It would have been like 20 million out of the gate and then potentially more. So it's been a long, hard road for them. But I think at this point, based on what I've been playing of the base game and what I've seen so far for Phantom Liberty, I am getting ready to do a full playthrough of the base game again here on the channel. I'll be streaming large parts of that. We'll be doing Let's Play videos around it. I've got a whole nother video coming out about my plans for Phantom Liberty launch. So if you want to pay attention to that, this is the part where I just remind you, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, all that good stuff. Pay attention to Discord as well. But doing a full playthrough For me, when I look at where it feels now, based on what I've seen so far on the Series X, it's just like this is a pretty amazing experience. And I to this day think that The Witcher 3 and its expansions, not just the game, I think the game and its expansions should be considered when you're having a discussion about The Witcher 3. And I'm going to say something here that might be controversial to some people, but I think we're not talking CRPGs here. We're talking more like action RPGs. Not even action RPG, because this isn't an action RPG, but just really good over-the-shoulder third-person like RPGs. The Witcher 3 and its expansions are like the number one best RPG that I've played in this style of games ever. I mean, it beats out all the other games that I love in that series of game. Like, I mean, I love Assassin's Creed games. I love the storyline and everything else. Not the same. Like this took things to another level, and as deep and as rich as like Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla are with their storylines and being able to live in those ancient times. Those are great games, and I love them as an example of this style of game. Red Dead Redemption 2 is another good style, even though you can do first person in RDR2, I realize. But this is what I'm getting at, like that, you know, single player RPG experience. Um, Quick commercial break, everyone, to give a shout out to our first official guild officer, Bubalonia, as well as all of the guild champions, and of course, all of the members who help keep me on the air full time. To join as a member, simply click that join button below and pick your tier, but you can also support with super chats on any live stream or premiere, or super thanks on any upload or YouTube short. Don't forget the Discord. Let's get back to the video. The Witcher 3 and its expansions were like the best I've ever played. And the third expansion in particular, Blood and Wine, is like up there in like my best expansions of all time that I've ever played for like any game that I've ever played. Up there as well as like Moria for Lord of the Rings Online, also the Planes of Power expansion for EverQuest back in the day. Like there are some pretty big titles up there in like my best expansion of all time, and but Blood and Wine, man, just the ending you get with Geralt is so epic. But I digress. The point is, I trust Cyberpunk 2077. I even had no, even though there were bugs and it was a bug experience, I loved the first game. I loved Cyberpunk when it came out, and I thought the story was amazing, and I thought what they were trying to do was amazing. It was just a buggy hot mess. And now they've changed it. And here's the thing. Knowing that they've changed it and knowing what I know about the story and knowing that it's a good story, going back and playing it again in the way it was meant to be played with these 2.0 updates and a brand new DLC that gives us even more phenomenal storytelling. And we know that this is the last DLC for the game. So you know Cyberpunk 2077 here. I meant to say, you know CD Projekt Red is not going to let Phantom Liberty be the death knell for this franchise. So they are going to come out swinging with this and have this be the send-off and the full redemption arc that it needed to be. I have faith in that, and I know some people say you're crazy, but I also say, yeah, but it's not a religious type of fervor. It's more along the lines of they know they screwed up, they lost a ton of money, it ruined their reputation, they were riding high on everything, and they've in order to get that back, you either get it back or you become BioWare, and you have failure after failure after failure, and we'll see what happens for them. But I have faith that it's going to turn around because everything I've seen so far for Phantom Liberty looks amazing. And just my initial playthroughs on the Series X of the base game as it is now without the 2.0 upgrades are amazing. I think this is a great game. It's going to shine. We'll be playing through it here live on my channel and doing Let's Play videos, so check all those things out. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, join the Discord. Don't forget to check all the videos that are out for members as well up above in the member category, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay safe. Happy gaming, everybody.